All right, hello everyone. My name is Disc. I'm a title healer from the War Within, and this is a 17 Pit of Saron review as Voidweaver. So I wanted to put one up on my channel now that we've had a second round of buffs. First it was to the Entropic Rift, now it's to the Void Blast. Those are our main two spells, making this spec a lot stronger than it was. I do think probably around the 17 range is where Voidweaver is going to max out. I can't imagine going into an 18 as Voidweaver, but quickly let me splash the damage overall for this key. It was right at 63,000 per second. That's pretty fun. And you have to add up all the lines for the torments from the pets, but the pets come out to 31%, where the Entropic Rift, the Mind Blast, is only at 29%. So these are the main drivers of this build, this playstyle. And when it comes to the torments, that is the biggest area to focus on as Voidweaver. The Mind Blast, you're going to naturally get this value just from high uptime, but the torments take a little bit of know-how with the spec to be able to maximize these. And I'm going to cover that in a standalone video. My plan is to get like a standalone Oracle guide, like a 10-minute or less, and then a standalone Voidweaver, where we can talk about all those things in a little more detail before the launch of the expansion. But I wanted to put this up on the channel just to get a little more content going, to sample Voidweaver with its changes. But let's flash the talents I'm running for this key. So we definitely want to take Disease Dispel here. The tank gets stacking diseases. As Voidweaver, I am taking Tithe Evasion. I think maybe if you're Oracle, I'd put that over to Inspiration, but nevertheless, over on the Discipline side, it favors heavily the right. This is where our shadow damage comes from. I'm not really banking much into holy spells, except maybe for Penance and Harsh Discipline. But if you're completely new to Disc, completely new to Voidweaver, it's really all about this talent, Inescapable Torment. So 3 of our spells trigger them. It is Mind Blast, that's the longer of the cooldowns, and then Penance and Death are the shorter of the cooldowns. We want to play those spells after we have pets out. And there are a couple ways to get pets. So anytime we catch and execute, we have a 100% chance to proc one. I will say to developers, this is not 100% yet, so this needs to be fixed. We also have, oh, let me change this. We have another way to grant ourselves a pet, and it's after we play Evangelism. So on Trash, I kind of look at Evangelism as a DPS spell. Obviously on bosses, we want to hold it and be a little bit more of a healer with our Evangelism. But then the last way is Collapsing Void spawns a free pet after it collapses. So those are our 3 ways to get pets. So we kind of have to anticipate those, make sure we have our torment spells. Remember these, the Mind Blast, Penance, and Death. We want to make sure they're not on cooldown when we're expecting a free pet. And then we want to play our torments appropriately. And I would say the biggest area where you can min-max this build is in being confident and skilled with finding executes. So we always want to be looking in the field for them. Anytime we can catch one, it is a really nice output boost. And I am using Platinator. It's great because it takes all of my execute mobs, switches the nameplate color to white. So they stand out. They go from red to white. It makes it really easy to spot them. It kind of levels the playing field quite a bit when you're trying to find them and get them. And then, oh yeah, so on the priest side again, as Oracle, I would take Benevolence. As Voidweaver, I'm taking Focus Power. And it's just quite a bit of fun. But yeah, let's see. So I am planning on making a standalone video for Oracle and Voidweaver, kind of short ones that go through add-ons, talents, rotation, thing like that. But I do think these videos are all levels. I hope anyone can learn from these, even if you're not playing Disc, for example. I try and teach them from a standpoint of all levels, but I know I'm imperfect. Leave me critiques if you would like. But yeah, last thing I'll say before we clip over to the video is check me out on Medify. I have it up and running. That is the best way at the moment to support the channel's growth. You can sign up as a member. You can book private lessons with me. We can cover pretty much whatever you want. And that is going to really help the channel grow. Then also before the expansion hits, I'm trying to get a little more traction with posting more content, but I do ask anyone who's watching, please give a comment, like, and a sub, and I would appreciate that. But yeah, with all that being said, let's go ahead and clip over to the key. All right, here we go. So first pull, I'm kind of always planning how I want it to go, and we do want to put a lot of our spells on cooldown. So we want Uppies on cooldown, we want Evangelism on cooldown, PI obviously. We want to find our focus target early and get straight into our rift. So when it comes to focus targeting, I do think it's pretty important to use that, especially as Voidweaver. I have a macro with my smite to funnel all of my void blasts into my focus. So I put my focus on the kill target, and then our void blast, which is very strong single target. No matter whom I'm targeting, will always hit the kill target. Okay, my second rift is out. I give it 3 void blasts and then go into my uppies. Here goes my third rift. And a huge area for loss with Voidweaver. You have to get 3 smites to extend its duration when it's active. If you miss even one of those smites, pretty big loss. So that's kind of the main thing I'm thinking about when the rift is out, is let me get 3. Sometimes you have to weave spells back and forth, so you don't want to miss that 3. Okay, I'm opening with a couple of natural dots, and in these pulls we have execute opportunities. Looks like I foregoed them. That's okay. I think I start picking them up next pull. But these little guys who are at 0, great place for execute, great place for free torments. Okay, evangelism to get it rolling. Free pet. Execute, another free pet. Penancing mobs with our dot. Another execute, another free pet. And it, I guess, matters as Oracle, but it matters a lot more as Voidweaver. You have to practice targeting. As an execute class, if you're really trying to get the most out of it, executes can save the day. As Voidweaver, it's honestly all about executes. Okay, so let's see. I think I wise in. We have these executes in field. A great way to lead into your rift is with an execute first. So that means our Mind Blast gets a free torment, and that Penance gets a free torment. And that's what we did. Okay, let's see, I'm setting up for executes with my free pet. So a little unfortunate. I had to use a defensive Penance there while I had 2 pets out. It's just how it goes sometimes. Okay, execute with 2 free pets. Love to see it. And you might notice too, another execute, 3 pets out tormenting at once, pretty fun. Just got evangelism, but I'm sure we hold it for next pull. But you might notice our totem frame is detached from player, and I have it right above our torment spells. So really important to put those values together. And I'm using the add-on edit mode expanded. Yeah, wherever your penance and death are, those should be next to each other, and then your torment, your totems should be near those 2 spells. Okay, we have evangelism. So evangelism here on trash is more of a DPS button, if you ask me. Yep, open with evangelism. Rift first, penance second. Paints up. we should start having some executes in field. Got an execute there. Okay, we just got PI. It'll be great for next pull. Free execute. Switch my targets to find a dot. And we're fucking them up. I'm at 96,000 overall. Okay, we have PI. We have uppies. Opened with an execute. That is our preferred rotation. When you can open with one of those, you get free torments off of your Mind Blast and Death. And when it comes to a rotation, if there's executes in field, generally you want Death to come first, because then you get the torment from penance. Okay, we just got evangelism. Here goes our second uppies. And uppies and Rift do pair well together if you're kind of just trying to put things on cooldown. Let's watch how this goes. So Rift is out. I'm expecting everyone to die. I gave it all the penance it can take, and I collapsed it early. So you do have to be in good practice of holding an extra keybind as Voidweaver, a macro for / cancel aura in Tropic Rift. You never want the collapse to happen after mobs die. So you want to be able to control that for extra damage. And I forgot what I was saying before that. But we do have evangelism. Putting my focus on the bird. There's evangelism. And I was selected. The monk gave me Tiger's Lust. You can also meld it, but he got me first. Okay, here goes the Rift. Other points to know about the Rift. It grows with every penance you give it. It maxes out at 10 penance bolts. Okay, we are getting PI here. PI's out. Okay, we have executes in field. Let's see how well I play them. And this is where I wish our lock had his imp out to help with that second magic dispel, but he's not doing that. We procced 3 pets. Really nice talent. Missed a couple executes there, missed my dot spread there, but that's okay. I was struggling with that second dot. I really, honestly, I forgot that there were 2 dot pulls, 2 magic dot pulls. But I take Disease Dispel here, which means it's a little harder for me to take Mass Dispel. We have a lock. It would be great if he had his imp out. And then this pull, I kind of almost maybe messed it up. So let's see how it goes. I'm actually not too sure of the mechanic. DH is suffering here because of that dot. So I think... what exactly is happening here? I think this big mob, at 50% health or something, he triggers a mechanic that rots the group. Which I wasn't ready for, really. So, noted. Okay, we have evangelism. Also, thanks to the author of the add-on Voodoo Caspar, it kind of brings back a little bit of the fantasy of Voidweaver, where we bounce between Holy and Shadow spells, changing the Caspar to either yellow and purple. Okay, we have executes in field. Let's see how well I play these little guys. I think I hold for my death, then I play my rift. Yeah. Death, rift penance. That gives me free torments. I gotta get these smites out. Found an execute for a free pet. Here goes my next rift, right as it came up. And it's kind of counterintuitive. Okay, force that collapse early for the damage grab. Kind of counterintuitive. When your rift is out, you really have to lean into your void blasts. That being said, a caveat to that, oftentimes you do need to spell weave. So depending on the situation, if someone needs a spot heal like a shield or a flash heal, you do have to drop a void blast to pick up a spot heal. But the more that you can, you want to just void blast. Okay, this is a heal check boss. Let's watch how Voidweaver handles it. Good idea to roll fade as much as you can here. And I think it also goes without saying, maybe I should have said it earlier in the video, but when the rift collapses, it returns as atonement healing. Very powerful aspect of the gameplay. Therefore, you want to make sure you cast a radiance in your rift window that covers the group for the rift collapse. Okay, so we have evangelism, PI's out, and I believe I play evangelism here as a reaction. So we take the dam, evangelism. Defensive penance just to play my role. Would have really liked an imp dispel here, but and when it comes to my void shields, a little different than Oracle, I'm trying to bank a 10 stack, gain a proc, and then pair them that way. Okay, so we have uppies. After that phase, we can expect a lot of dam. Uppies was in good timing for the recovery. Dispel exiting the spell. And one thing I really like about Grid, too, is how we can display those dispels. And we can see here the mage is getting a little bit lower than the rest of the party. So I'm weaving in some spot heals for these two. And now it paints up just to help level it out. Okay, rift is out. Can't see shit. I think that was a pretty bad rift. I think I missed my void blast due to the dispels. But we're about to get evangelism. I believe we just full send it here. Yep. Now that we're in execute is really nice. We get free pets, free executes. Our executes hit like a truck on their own. Okay, we do have PI, but I think I'm holding. We have a free radiance here. Ooh, that was not my best rift. Missed a lot of torments, would have rather it opened with the death. I procced 2 free pets and missed my penance, but we got through it. So it's kind of just a full send type boss. Want to play Fade as much as you can. After the intermission, great place to use big spells, evangelism, uppies, desperate prayer to protect yourself. If you have Fade, obviously that's a good place for that too. And I forgot about this until just now. Our tank went AFK for like 2 minutes. So let me cut this out and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So going into boss, we have damage on pull.
Thanks for your
We have all spells from the wait. PI's out, and I open with Evangelism. I'm selected with this curse, great place for personal defensives. I used a health potion as well. My macro for both defensives at once, Fade and Desperate Prayer on a single button. Pretty nice. And it looks like I would have died if I didn't play it that way. Probably could have sent a paint up on myself and been okay. And for a 2-target cleave scenario, definitely want to manage our dot spread just with penance. Especially since we have the talent Painful Punishment, we don't want to spend a global or the mana casting our dot in combat. So let our penance do all the work. Good practice. Okay, so we have Shade Shift coming up. That's where we have Group Dam. Let's see how I play it. Looks like I'm holding my Rift to cover the dam. I Fade and Desperate Prayer, and then send the Rift out. So the upfront damage from the Mind Blast is substantial. You definitely want to backload Mind Blast, because it is a huge heal when the group is atoned. Hitting one of the totems a little. Another Fade. Here goes Evangelism. Yikes, I lost some penance there. So I could have done better with attacking the totems, but I didn't. Okay, we did just get PI. I don't think I spent here, but we will give an uppies. If anything, I maybe wish I played uppies sooner. We had quite a bit of lost uptime there. But when that tank went AFK for like 2 minutes, that really threw off my my rhythm. Death, then penance for the free pets and free torments. And we're moving on. 68.5 per second. Love to see it.
Death is all that awaits. Do not think that I shall permit you entry into my master's.
Okay, we have PI.
Pursue me if you dare.
PI's out. So if I'm in my Rift window and there are no executes in field, Shadow or Death falls way down the prio list. A Void Blast far outbeats a Death unless there's an execute. But we have one now. Hot. Got it. Free pet. And we have a Stacking Disease on tank. Just cleared it out. Execute, and then I send my torments to the group over there. And it's a subtle aspect of playing Voidweaver. Here goes the Mind Blast. It's pretty subtle, but our torments are 5-target cleave. You have to be mindful of where you're sending your torment spells. For example, these guys that jump out. Let's say one of those guys is outside the group, and you send your torment that way. It's going to be a lot of loss compared to if you sent your torment to the group of mobs. So it's something you kind of have to think about in the back of your mind. Okay, let's see, here goes another Rift. Executes in field, picked one up. And spamming as many Void Blasts as I can. 3 pets out at once and a torment. Love it. And this right here... generally this is a skip. I bid to do a Shadow Meld pull, but I think the tank got a little impatient just waiting around, so he went ahead and pulled it. So similar to downstairs, I believe the mechanic triggers at 50%. I think the best play here would be to mark one with Skull, which we didn't do, and kill it down first. And then here's also where, oh, we do have a Skull, but we got into a little trouble here because I was playing too much damage Disc Priest. I played Evangelism at the start of the poll when there was no rot damage yet. Not sure if we had a death or not, I forget. But it did just get an execute, love to see it. Cast a Radiance before the collapse of the Void. Holding death for execute range. Got a nice free proc. And watch my rift here. I sent it out, collapsed it instantly. We needed the group heals, and we actually all lived. So, yeah, in a lot of cases, rift is a pretty short cooldown. It's a-okay to send one and collapse it early just for the HPS and DPS. And I just put my flask on, so sorry you had to see that. Hopefully you didn't see it. Something else to think about when putting your torments into a group. Our Mind Blast, our rift, is going to follow whoever you cast it on. So you don't want to cast your rift on mobs that jump around. So like, for example, in this poll, I want my rift on this darker red mob, so it stays more central. Oh, what got him? Yeah, these, so food for thought from, myself next time I'm in here with a lock. I have to make sure they're running that Imta spell. I mean, some people might call it healer problem, but there's honestly too many of those magic dispels for mass dispel to even really be a strong solution. If you have a lock-in group, it just makes a big difference. Okay, we do have evangelism, we do have uppies. There goes the evangelism. And even though the pet's out, where death gets more prudence, I still like to cast one Void Blast first to make sure I'm not neglecting that extension. Whenever you miss one of your 3 Void Blasts, that is probably the biggest area of loss as Voidweaver. Okay, let's see. Slightly mistimed, but I was trying to play my Mind Blast after the group hit. Again, because the Mind Blast is substantial upfront healing to the group. And if you look on top of my cast bar is target's cast bar. And I was trying to look at that to precast my Mind Blast, but it was a slight miss. And that last rift there was similar to before we entered the cave. I sent the rift, collapsed it instantly with my extra keybind macro. No loss to the cooldown, it's short enough. Got extra damage, got extra healing. Okay, so in this fight we have Rot. We have 2 target cleave. We have uppies. Okay, so this is the 2 target cleave. You have to place your mechanic with the arrows. I'm selected. Great place for personals. My macro for Fate and Desperate Prayer together. PI's out. We do have evangelism. I think I might be holding it for this. Okay, we can see where that damage is going ahead of time. So I played my shield on the lock there. Okay, we have the Army of the Dead coming. That must be where I'm holding my evangelism for. Kind of want to top people up a little bit before then. Some manual flash heals. I preemptively fade just to not even be seen. And here goes my rift with all the adds. Evangelism's out, so I'm favoring my Shadow Word Death a little more. Teach down. Okay, we have Bone Infusion. This is group-wide damage. I could have done a little bit better there with my timing. The Mind Blast was canceled. I'm sorry, sent after. I'm sorry, before the attack. And it led to a death. If I played my spells a little bit in better timing there, we probably would have not had a death, but it also looked like I was fumbling a little bit. So just call that user error, I suppose. I do have pain sups, which I'm sitting on. Okay, here comes another Army of the Dead. Spot healing to get people up before I fade to take myself out of the aggro table. Radiance Rift. 3 penance for extension. Straight into uppies. So again, the Rift only takes 10 penance before it maxes out. The penance from uppies count. Okay, we do have Evangelism. Okay, I wised up to that Bone Infusion. Maybe I just forgot what it was. But we definitely want our heals to come after it. So either like pre-casting a Mind Blast or a reactive Evangelism, which is what we had there. So I'm starting to use my spells a little bit better. I have the 2-target cleave dot. Gave myself a paints up. Ooh. And that was where an execute did not proc a pet. Hate to see it. I was trying to ramp into my rift with an execute first. Three pets tormenting. Love to see it. And boom. 63,000 damage per second overall. It's a pretty good key for damage. I'm going to try and get like a 17 Algothar Academy to see really how high I can push that number. There's a lot more AoE in there for our spec. The Rift is uncapped AoE damage, which is pretty cool. And I think there's a lot of tidbits of information in here that could help you play Voidweaver if you're interested to try. I definitely think it is completely viable to play up until 17s. I think we saw here it's really wasn't a problem. I think the biggest area where we ran into trouble was just the 2-target magic dot, which is kind of hard to take Mass Dispel here, especially if you're taking Disease Dispel. With a lock, I would have loved to see him having his imp out, but nevertheless, we got through this pretty seamlessly, and I had fun doing it. So I practiced Voidweaver a little before making this video to make sure I'm warmed up. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and until next time, Disc.